What's up, guys? Paramoto here. How are you guys doing today? Today, I'm doing just fantastic. If you've ever been going triple-digit speeds on your motorcycle and saw a police officer out of the corner of your eye and your heart sunk, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. It helps me a lot. So guys, welcome to Topic Tuesday. I will be your host, Paramoto, as always, graciously providing topic content and answering your questions. I want to answer a question today, and it's a question that I get fairly regularly, probably at least once a week, okay? I swear, I think a lot of you guys, like, conspired with one another, and y'all got, like, a Yamaha R3 as your first bike. There's so many of you guys out there that are commenting, you know, I'm currently riding a Yamaha R3. Can I step up to a 959 for a second bike? Congratulations for being a motorcycle rider and sticking with it. I'm all about y'all. Secondly, yes, absolutely. I think it's about anybody can step up to a 959. You know what, honestly, with some people out there like Light 40 and after speaking to, you know, all 1,200 of you guys over the past, 18 months, I think anything's possible. If you want to start a 959, I think you could do it. As Light 40 has done. To be honest with you, do I think it's the best match for everybody? No, not even a little bit. But it can be done. I think the bike that you choose is more about your mindset than it is about anything else. If you can understand that a 959 is not an R3 and it's gonna buck you off if you do something really stupid and you ride responsibly, I think if you keep that in the back of your mind, that this bike is not a beginner bike and it has a lot of power and it's, honestly, it's a lot more to handle than your R3. Yeah, absolutely. I think you should do it. In fact, I think you should do whatever makes you happy, boo. Now, the way that I did things, stepping up to motorcycles and everything, is I went from a 300 to a 600 to an almost 1,000cc bike. That's how I did it. It's not what's right for everybody. I mean, I understand that now. Back in the day, probably last year, before certain people reached out to me about certain things, I probably would have told you that the best way to do it would have been beginner bike, 600, 1,000. And there was no argument with me about it at all. That's the only way to do it. Now, I think there's a lot more ways to do it. And I think there, more than just CCs and power comes into play. I think it's more maturity and mindset comes into play above all else. I think when you have a smaller bike like an R3, a Yamaha 400 now, or if you get a 300, or even one of the old 250s, I think you will learn a lot more on a 250 than you will on a 959 as your first bike. Most people, not everybody. And the reason why I say that is that all the general principles are the same. You can lean over a 250 just as far as you can lean over a 1,000cc bike. And that's really the most important thing. That's the hardest thing to really learn, is how to ride and how to ride confidently and how to take turns fast. It's not just going fast. Any dumb monkey can do this, and I'm a testament to that. You can learn the fundamentals on a cheaper bike. You can learn the fundamentals on a smaller, cheaper bike that is more forgiving. It's not gonna buck you off the first chance that it gets. You're not gonna have the chance to really whiskey throttle it like you would this bike. It's just, they're more forgiving, and they're beginner bikes for a reason, to be honest with you. Is that they're geared. Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda, all these manufacturers that have these beginner bikes, they've done millions of dollars worth of research just to build a good beginner bike. And there's a reason why a lot of people start on smaller bikes. You can learn the fundamentals, you can have fun, you can ride safer, and also it's not going to break the bank if you drop it. You probably, most people would probably be served better riding a bike off the bat that won't basically bankrupt them if they drop it. If you wanted to, start on a 959, that's cool, but you got to be extra special careful, in the beginning, because you don't want to drop that thing. Man, these fairings are expensive. Ducati dealerships are slightly more expensive than Japanese. There's not as many spare parts going around either, so you really got to be careful. Now if you start with a dual sport, like I really suggest people do, or a smaller CC displacement motorcycle, and you end up dropping it, you're going to be crying a lot less hard. There's going to be a lot less, at stake than it is like a bigger bike like this. So guys, when it really comes down to it, what bike you decide to pick is really up to you. It's 100% up to you. Don't let anybody influence you to make a decision that isn't in your best interest. If you want to buy a Gixxer 1000 as your second bike, do it. If you want to buy a 959 as your second bike, do it. If you want to start on one, do it, but be careful. Make the decision that'll make you happy, and that's what I tell people now. Instead of discouraging people from doing what they want to do, I just tell people, do what will make you happy in the long run. But for the love of God, be careful. If you're going to start on a bike with over 100 horsepower, or you're going to upgrade to a bike with well over 100 horsepower for your second one, just for the love of God, be careful. The last thing anybody wants to see is you get hurt, you get killed because you stepped up to a bike that maybe was beyond your capabilities to ride and you did something bad, you know, and something bad happened. Nobody wants to see that at all. Like I said, I mean, I've literally spoken to people, like 40, that have started on this bike. It started on a beautiful 959 Corsa edition. He's doing fine. So, I mean, there's always exceptions to the rules. There's always exceptions to basically anything. And you know what? Do what makes you happy, for sure. You know, I get that question at least once a week. I started on a Yamaha R3. Can I ride a 959? Yeah, absolutely. It's the same controls. It really is. But at the end of the day, it's the same controls. Just be careful. I mean, really, if you would have spoken to me like a year, 2 years ago, before I had, you know, people to talk to about all this stuff, I would have told you, no way. No way. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Don't even look at a 959. But you know what, now? You know what? I'm actually educated. I'm actually slightly more educated than I was. And I say go for it. Do what makes you happy. I will say one thing that is drastically different from Ducati to Japanese manufacturers, and not in a good way, is the fact that Japanese manufacturers, at least Honda, work with you finance-wise. You know, like Honda Financial, they barely ever even asked me for money when I had a loan through them. They're like, whatever, pay whatever you want whenever you want. You're already ahead of your bill. Who cares? Because I would pay them like $100-200 a month, and I would get ahead of my bill, and there'd be like 3 or 4 months where they're like, not even any minimum due, you know, whatever, you do you, go enjoy your bike. And then when it comes down to Ducati, and like I bet you every Ducati dealership is different, the financing that was provided me initially on this Ducati was absolutely terrible. It was awful, and I ended up providing my own financing, going to my credit union and getting a much better APR than they were offering. But the original APR was like 14% that they were offering. Are you serious? You're gonna provide me 14%? I think my Honda was like 3 or 4%. It might have been upwards of 5, and that's just because, you know, motorcycles are higher risk. It's a higher risk investment than a car. But at the same point, like Ducati, like they don't really provide good financial support for people. So like if you're like me and you're not wealthy and you don't have $16,000 just lying around, it might behoove you to stay Japanese. It really would. You know, unless you can save up some money or unless you can find financing elsewhere, the financing that Ducati provides is going to be way different in a bad way than probably what you've experienced previously. We got an Enduro. What's this? A KTM. That's pretty cool. Guys, like I'm saying, you do what makes you happy. You're the only one that knows exactly what makes you happy, and how you maintain your happiness with your decisions is all up to you. So, you know what? You do you. Don't let anybody make you make a bad decision for you. You know, go buy the bike of your dreams if you want. If you can afford it, go get it. Why not? Why not? I mean, you can't take your money with you when you die. You know, you don't want to be old and gray and have no stories about doing something cool, you know? It's just like, you know what? You do you. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I'll see you guys on the next one. Deuces.